Hello everyone, it's Infinity Gamer here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to assemble the standard scenery that comes in most of the Infinity starter sets. Okay, so one of the first things you'll notice with a lot of the Infinity terrain that comes is that it's double-sided. So you've got to choose the overall theme that you're after first, make sure it's all consistent, and then I find that it helps to lay it out like this in preparation for you to be able to assemble. Now, things like the stairs, obviously you just want to make sure that they're the right colour. I haven't done here, but you'll generally notice that there's a theme with one particular side or not. So here I've gone with the Operation Wildfire, blue, windowy kind of stuff. Unfortunately, the stairs don't 100% match because I've pulled them from somewhere else, but this is more a tutorial on how to assemble things as opposed to how to make it look good. One of the things that you're going to want to do, start with the outside edge of the building first, which seems a little bit odd, but trust me on this, it's the best way to assemble this terrain. And then just use the really handy locking mechanism to connect the two together. Apologies that this is slightly off, but this is definitely the easiest part of the terrain. So if you're struggling at this point, then I might not be able to help you. But this is not as difficult as it looks. So they've basically got the hook system. Most of them slot up to down and down to up, and they hook in fairly simply and easily. Do all of the sides, including the stairs. That's definitely the best way to do it, and make sure that all the vertical elements are in place. So hooking in the stairs last, you've basically got your finished building. Now, what you want to do next is going to make the next step a lot easier. So we're going to be putting the floor in. And in order to make that easy, just open things up a little bit, but don't put any pressure on any of the joints excessively. This is going to be easy, so you don't need to open it up too far. So starting with that short edge, which is going to be the stair edge, put the single peg into that hole and make sure it slots in perfectly. Now again, be slightly gentle. You don't want to overextend the joints here, and it shouldn't need too much forcing. Then you're going to go in an anti-clockwise direction and just put those pegs into their corresponding holes nicely and basically close the building in around the floor. So do that ever so slightly, do it slowly, take your time, there's no need to rush this, it's not a speed race, and just make sure that everything's in securely. Don't try and force anything, they do slot in very easily. So there you have it, you've got the building constructed mostly. Now unfortunately we've now got the fiddly bit to do. So now's the really fiddly bit, the steps themselves. So what I tend to find works is if you do use gravity to help you a little bit here, especially if you're trying to do this on your own and you're trying to do it with one hand, just peg them into the outside wall. Now, take your time because this is going to be the frustrating bit, but if you can do it properly, that's good. Then you line them up with the corresponding holes that's on the inside of the building. Now, you're not going to be able to force them in at this point. You're just looking to line them up. Now, the reason why you're not going to be able to force them in is because there's a little barrier. That little corner section there, it actually is going to need to hook over and in. So you're trying to do two things at once here. As you slowly edge that staircase wall over that floor peg, now it doesn't need to go very far, you're also trying to make sure that the steps are lining up with the holes at the same time. Now, give it a little bit of assistance if you need to, but again, this is a very fragile part of the terrain, so don't force it too much. You don't have to go too far. Now, both are cut-ins, so you can actually just ease them over slightly and then just push it through. Now again, so long as you've got the steps lined up with the holes, this isn't actually going to be a major issue. If you've misaligned them and you're trying to force stuff, that's when it's going to break. But this is definitely where patience is required. Once the steps are aligned though, you can basically just squeeze over that little hook and the steps will fall into place and then it's complete. So it's actually relatively straightforward, but it's definitely complicated because you naturally want to gravitate towards building everything around the floor section. That's not the way to do it. One of the last things to go in. So hopefully that's been very helpful in terms of learning how to construct these buildings. These are the 3mm thicker cards, so hopefully this will be useful for anyone who's picking up Wildfire or Kaldstrøm. Hope that's been helpful.